Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Sean here again with Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce, and we're back with another rabbit farming video. Today we're gonna just be touching lightly on the issue of buck sterility, because I noticed in recent times a lot of persons have been talking and asking about that little issue that they're having within their farms. So we're gonna touch a little bit on that, and then we're gonna show you guys some of the litters that we had. They're about 2 weeks old now. We're gonna have a look at some of the litters. So stay tuned, we'll be right back after the intro. Okay guys, so we're back, and today we're just touching a bit on the issue of buck sterility. Now this is a subject that I would have touched on before. I think in our video What the Buck that came out probably a month or two ago, I think in that video we spoke a lot about the importance of the buck in the whole breeding operation. So I believe in that video we would have touched a bit on sterility. But today I think I'm going to single out that issue because it's a problem that a lot of people are experiencing, especially here right now in Trinidad and Tobago in the height of our dry season. So I just thought it's something that we should touch on a little more and expand on it a bit. Now, people have been reporting varying scenarios with missed breedings, negative palpation, and a lot of the times they're in a bit of a quandary whether the buck or the doe is actually the problem in that scenario. Now, like I said, there are a lot of ways, there are a lot of things that you can try to help mitigate and to help pinpoint, you know, which animal is actually to blame. But sometimes there'll always be situations where there are exceptions. Okay, firstly let's talk a little bit about the buck. Now, some of the things that would affect sterility in bucks, firstly, their age. Now, it's important that you don't start breeding a buck too early, because apart from the fact that he may not have viable sperm as yet, sometimes if you try a buck too early and he has a negative experience with a doe that may be a bit frisky or aggressive towards him, that negative experience might prevent him from wanting to repeat that mating ritual in the future. So you end up with a buck that is too shy or afraid to approach the female when you put them into his cage. So you want to look at age. Again, I think I said this in the previous video, the best sperm producing years for each buck is between, I think, 6 months and 16 months, I think it was, right? So within that period, within their first full year and something of life, that is when you get the best performance. Now, that isn't to say that you can't use a buck beyond a year and a half, 2 years. We've done it, but you have to keep other things in consideration. One of those other things that you have to think about is diet. So bucks should be well fed on a balanced diet. Now, it's easy to balance the diet if you're using a ration. I see a trend in recent times where a lot of persons are moving towards a more forage based diet, and that's fine, nothing's wrong with that. Okay, but if you're going the direction of forages, then you need to provide a variety of forages, because different forages will provide certain different trace elements and things like that. You're gonna wanna have a balanced diet for your buck. When I say balanced, I mean he should be well fed, but not to the point where he becomes overweight, because an overweight buck won't breed properly, as well as it will affect is sperm count. So you want to have a well-fed, healthy buck. It's probably best if you're using concentrate feed to also feed some forages to strike a balance with their diet. Now, as we're speaking about diet, directly connected with that obviously is health. You need to have healthy animals. You should be inspecting your bucks and your does as well on a regular basis to make sure that they're in good health, they're not underweight, no abnormalities. In bucks sometimes you see abnormalities like hernias, that cause swollen scrotum. Should look out for things like that. If it's a new buck that you're going to start using, you need to obviously check his penis to make sure he has a proper penis. There's no split penis or no curved penis that's caused sometimes by a growth of flesh on the underside of the penis that's too short, so it doesn't extend all the way out. It remains with a sort of curve. You'll have problems breeding. So you need to look out for things like that. So age is important, diet, and general health of the animal. Another thing that would affect the buck's sperm production is frequency of use. I see a lot of trends. I see a trend recently where a lot of young farmers are now getting into rabbit rearing. They have a tendency to use their bucks for 4 and 5 fall-offs with each doe. I've said it before, it's totally unnecessary. I think it's a mental thing that you want to make sure that she's bred, but even with 4 or 5 fall-offs, there's no guarantee where breeding is concerned, because he could be the best buck in the world and the problem could be a doe. You still won't have conception, so you need to strike a balance. Of course, if it's a buck that you're going to be using for several does, then you don't want to kill out the buck trying to get 4 and 5 fall-offs with each doe. 1 is sufficient, and if you're just for peace of mind, maybe 2, right? And to that point, later on this week or probably early next week, please God, I'm going to be releasing a video showing our conception rate with 1 fall-off. We did some natural breeding recently just as a trial, because I've been hearing this coming up over and over and over. People are asking, my buck only got 1 fall-off, is that enough? Should I try to breed her again tomorrow? It is unnecessary. 1 fall-off is sufficient for a successful mating as long as both animals are healthy and in their prime producing years. But I know saying it means absolutely nothing to most people. They're going to continue to do it their way because that's the way they've been doing it ever since. So that's okay. But we're going to release a video coming soon where we are going to show our conception rate where we did natural breedings with 1 fall-off. It may take a while to release that video because I'm trying to record when the breedings were done, as well as the 14 days later when we did the palpation, as well as when those litters kindle, to show you the litter sizes, where we will then be able to make a proper conclusion as to whether or not more than 1 fall-off is really necessary. So definitely look out for that. That video is going to be coming soon. So we spoke about frequency of use. Now, the main thing that I want to touch on today, because it is key to that sterility trend that we're seeing here in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, I'm not sure about other places in the world or even the rest of the Caribbean. So guys, you guys out there in the Caribbean especially, and in the US as well, who follow our channel, if you have or had any problems with sterility, please hit us up in the comment. Let us know the conditions, and if you came to any conclusion, what would have been the cause of that sterility, right? So we can have a discussion. I'll probably do a follow-up video on that. But the main issue that we're having in Trinidad right now, in Trinidad and Tobago, is the heat, high temperatures. we're having some extremely hot days right now, and I think, let's see here, I think I mentioned in at least 2 other videos that you should have thermometers in your rabbitry to measure the daily temperatures. Don't depend on how the space feels to you. It would seem cool to you, but you're not wearing a full coat all day long. So you need to have thermometers in your rabbitry, and I suggested not 1 thermometer but at least 2 on different ends of your rabbitry, so that you can monitor the daily temperatures as well as the fluctuations throughout your rabbitry as the sun moves overhead, depending on how your rabbitry is laid out. In our case, we run from east to west, so we see the sun on one end of the rabbitry in the morning, then it's directly overhead, and then on the western side we get some sun in the afternoon. So we have on the western side we have some shade cloth to block most of that sun in the afternoon, as well as on the eastern side we have up some shade cloth, as well as we have some trees that we didn't cut down, that we left as a sort of windbreaker to help stop most of that there, because it's very windy here. So we left some trees there to kind of break some of that wind. We want that ventilation, but we don't want too much of direct drafty breeze coming across the rabbits all day long. So definitely guys, the heat is an issue, so be mindful of that. Like I said, do everything in your power to keep your rabbitry as cool as possible, and of course let us know whatever results you got, what you did to reduce your temperatures. Let us know in the comments. Let other persons benefit from that information as well. I just remember this because I was reading through some comments recently, and someone asked about their buck being sterile. No, actually they asked about their doe being sterile, and they said that they believe that it was the doe that was sterile because she has been bred twice with that buck, and on both occasions she palpated negative. They also stated that the said buck that was used twice was used previously with other does and they produced litters, so they believe that it had to be the doe. Just on that point, it's important to note guys that sterility in both bucks and does, even though it's more prevalent in bucks, is something that can come and go. You could have bred your buck 2 months ago to 10 does and had 10 litters. You may breed him this month to 2 does and have no litters, and you can breed him again next month and have litters. So in a case like that, there's no definite that the problem is with the doe unless you have other information that we are not aware of. But it's important to remember that sterility comes and goes, especially with heat and climate change. So you'll need to keep that in mind. What I'd suggest before you place blame on any particular animal is to probably have a semen analysis done. Okay, if you don't own your own microscope, then obviously you can contact someone who does. We do it as well. If you think that you're having a problem with sterility, you can contact us and we'll work something out. I mean, during this lockdown time, COVID-19, it's not that easy to move around, but we'll arrange something during time of the day when it's reasonable for farmers to be out there doing stuff, and we can arrange and have a semen analysis done for you so you can have an idea whether or not your buck or your doe is actually used. Okay guys, so I'll just give you all a quick look at some of the rabbits here. I don't want this video to be too long because I promised you guys 2 videos for the week, so I'm gonna have to come at you again. And I know we're late. This video was supposed to be released yesterday, Monday. Now we had some issues out there with some work we're doing in the field, and it took us all day long, so I didn't have time to post this video, so that's why we're a day late. We apologize for that, but do look out for another video before this week is out on rabbit farming. So I think previously we spoke about selecting those or selecting rabbits to keep, you know, and we went through some of the things that you need to take into consideration. We are commercial farmers, so one of the main things we look at is growth rate, because we're aiming for maximum weight in 12 weeks time. So one of the criteria that we use to choose or select rabbits from any particular litter is growth rate. So we usually choose the fastest growing doe from each litter to keep as a future breeder. Now, that's not the only criteria, of course. Other things are taken into consideration, who the buck was and things like that. But once all other criteria are met, the deciding factor is usually the fastest growing doe from each litter. So I have about 13 does here, young does that I kept. Let me just give you guys a quick look at that. Okay, so we have some young does here. It's a really nice Cali here. Another young Cali. Most of them are Californian. A few of them are hybrids, Californian and New Zealand cross. But in those cases, those are strictly production does. We won't be keeping any of their offspring, but the Californian and New Zealand cross usually produces good hybrid vigor, and you get really good mothers for production. Okay, so let me just show you guys a couple of the litters. This is one of the females that I said we would most likely keep from. As you can see, she has 1, 2, 3, 7 of them there. This is the female that made 11. 3 were fostered to another doe, so she was left with 8, and 1 died. So we have 7, and they're all looking nice and of the right size. You can see they are hybrid litter, of course. The buck is a Californian, and she is obviously, well, a New Zealand white, but they have really nice dark markings. So we may keep a couple of them, of those, for strictly for production does, not for breeding stock or pedigreed stock or anything like that. I just wanted to show you guys this litter here, purebred Californian litter. This is the doe that I showed you all a couple videos ago, who never builds a proper nest. She doesn't do anything other than nurse. She always urinates in the box. No matter where you put the box, it's a total disaster with her. But her nursing is on point, because irregardless of all of that, the entire litter survives. So she kindled 9, and she still has 9. They're all evenly sized, right? See some nice little Californian markings. If you notice, their coat is a bit smutty. You see a bit of gray in there. That usually happens with Californians when the kits are wet constantly at a very early age, because if you're not aware, that Californian trait, those dark markings, they are influenced by temperature. That's why most times their cooler tips remain black. That's why the tip of their ears, feet, tail, nose are the points that are usually black. So when their body is wet as a kit, you get some of the fur on their body as well turning gray and blackish. That's why you find that you see a lot of them have this smutty gray look to them. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, mommy, all right. Okay, I also selected these 3 bucks here, 1 New Zealand white and 2 Californian. These will be for sale, so anyone who's interested in a young Californian buck or a young buck in general, you know, let us know. Right, one of these guys could be going home with you. Okay guys, so we're gonna leave it there for today. I hope you guys found some of the information useful. Definitely hit that like button. Don't forget, if it's your first time here with us, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you'll get notifications whenever we upload new content. Definitely leave a comment. Let us know how things are going with you. Any questions you have on rabbit farming, leave it in the comment section below. We'll touch on it, we'll respond to you, and we may also follow up on it in a subsequent video. So guys, thanks again for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you guys again later this week. Until then, be safe, observe social distancing, and guys, because we want to see you guys here again when this entire thing blows over, so we can get back to the business of rabbit farming. So on behalf of my business partner Sean McLean, this is Sean Austin from Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Radio signing out. See you guys next week. Peace.